Hey, you're wide receiver Khalil Shakir, right?
I sure am, kid. Here, go long.
Whoa! You're pretty good at football, man.
And you guys are pretty good at pizza.
Oh, sick. Dude.
Alrighty, folks, welcome back to Trainwreck tonight. 398. I'm locked in here, Maniac, with the Dreamboat Don. Don, we had a little bit. I had someone message me that it was a Ruby Tuesday with this red helmet release, but they're here and then they seem to be pretty glorious. So, what are your thoughts? Red helmets out onto the timeline.
Yeah, so let's address the elephant in the room right away. You know, we had some sources weren't exactly right. Now, I have a question for you. I haven't asked anyone in the group chat this. I was saving it for you. Would you rather have it, we realized we were horribly, horribly wrong in this fashion, like less than 24 hours after, which is the funniest part to me, or like they announced like 2 weeks later, you know?
No, I think I liked it this way. I think I liked that we were wrong right in our face. We didn't have to go on any type of, shenanigans to, argue back and forth. I mean, because it was already unbearable like the last like couple days, truly. But like, the last couple days, the last like 20 hours. I will get into the scoop part of it in a second, but yeah, we did. We got caught speeding essentially. The messed up thing I'll say about this as we get into the scoop debacle of it all, as we get into the red helmets, training camp eve, a lot to be excited about with Bills fans for sure. But it's like messed up because I want to say the source sucked and it's bullshit and we take accountability and we do say that at the same time. And the source.
There is a bit of a false flag going on.
If the source gave like us more information, I think we'd probably take it.
Yeah. Again, we can't get too deep into who the source is.
I can't.
But it kind of feels like a trap. Like you know what I mean? Like there's some purposefully false information. Though on the other side, I saw one of the Cover One guys tweet like, this seems rushed. There's hardly any pictures of any of the players in this, where it does make you think what exactly was going on at One Bills Drive. I don't want to pump us up too much, but did they see this? Were they like, well, now we got to get in front of this and announce, something contrary? But it's a whirlwind. It's exciting. I think we can all agree, though, this is the best outcome. This is the best way to be wrong.
It was kind of like tongue in cheek, and it was a little shoes. But first off, again, we were wrong. We were wrong 3 times. Bravo. You guys say, but at the same time, it's like even myself and Bundt, we were like, we hope this is wrong. Like, why wouldn't they do red helmets? Of course, unfortunately, it made sense in that regard. So thankful for the red helmets, but we'll get into the scoop debacle of it all. So again, like we had this scoop, we call it a scoop. Like it ended up being wrong or half wrong, quarter wrong. Some people are saying we're not all the way wrong. I have no idea. Some people are saying they're blocking Trainwreck Sports. That's okay. You got to do whatever you got to do. You got to cope however you got to cope, Don. But at the end of the day, it does seem like you said the overall reaction to this is incredibly positive.
Yeah. I mean, anytime you're wrong on the internet, you're just prepared to get dunked on by every troll in every basement across the entire world.
Oh, so, the team logo avatars were out today with the nameless faces and everything, of course.
But it's a loud minority. The overwhelming people were like, hey, you guys immediately owned it. That's good. And I will say, I don't want to prop up our team too much, but I'm gonna. Because you see it all the time over the internet. People are wrong. They move the goalposts. They say, well, I've been right every other time. And they give these half-ass apologies. You know what? You never want to, pat yourself on the back for doing, the lowest hanging fruit, what should be the easiest and the right thing to do. But I'm going to pat our guys on the back for it because they owned it. And there was no ifs, ands, buts. Oh, it's not my fault. It is what it is. And that's what we are here at Trainwreck. We take accountability and we'll be back.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing. There's no rest for the weary. And this is why you said it's funny. Like if this had taken a couple weeks or something like that, but instead it's like training camps tomorrow. So there's like literally no time to wait around. Now we are getting into the tinfoil hattiness of this. You mentioned that, there were some people saying that this could have been like a little last second. There's also like the fact that it's a week 18 game, like for a big deal. It ended up being kind of a footnote, but I think a lot of fans are saying that the standing Buffalo coming back for 2 games is just as big a deal to them as the red helmet coming back for 1 game at the end of the season.
Yeah. I mean, I think the red helmet is obviously an ode to the past because they opened that stadium against the Jets wearing those helmets. I believe, right? Or was that still the standing Buffalo era?
I think that was the standing Buffalo era for
Okay.
the old stadium, or sorry,
So,
for the new stadium. Yeah.
but it is. I mean, those helmets are awesome. Love them. But they've been, we've seen them before. They're fantastic. Good to have them back. The red, though, if you're talking about the fan experience, people are, that's been the loudest section of fans is people that want that back. So yeah, you're right. I mean, people are saying too, you're only going to see Josh Allen play 1 series with this helmet.
There's people saying he might not even take a snap in them.
Yeah. So like, and it's just interesting because it feels
actually,
like
he's got to preserve his starting streak. I'm sorry, and I'm knocking on wood when I say that, but that was a big reason why he had to take the first series last time too.
Yeah, yes, but it seems like there's almost been a breadcrumb for a couple years that this is going to happen, especially with Josh in the what was it, the red versus blue game. He came out with the visor and all of that. So yeah, it just feels like they've been breadcrumbing, and then to just have it as a week 18 game. It's just once we get off stream, I think I'm gonna put on a second tinfoil hat, put maybe tinfoil on my elbows and my hands, and dig deep into the Bills conspiracy Twitter on what exactly is happening with the red helmets. It's interesting how it went down.
It is. So I think, again, we've revealed it. It was sometime over the last week. It was a source we clearly trust. Unfortunately, I think we would trust them again. Again, like, I don't know if that's like syndrome of like someone that gets cheated on and like they're like, no, like they changed. I don't know. It's a little different. The details as well, Don. But that is not anything worth getting caught up in at this point as we get ready for training camp, which starts tomorrow. With that said, want to give a huge shout out to our show sponsor, Picasso's Pizza. Training camp getting underway, but Picasso's is in mid-season form with their amazing deals on their sheet pizza, wings, and more. So go to picassospizza.net for the best deals on the best pizza in Western New York. Training camp done. Obviously, this is going to be shorts for a day or 2, pads. Then we'll get like to actually doing stuff. What are you locked in on storyline, or we just don't get hurt anyone season for this first week?
Yeah, don't get anyone hurt. It seems like the James Cook drama is kind of buried for at least the foreseeable future until the end of this season and what's going to happen there. So yeah, I just want to see the boys out. Hope, off season, they had their fun, their time off, but hopefully they, is kept in shape well, like you said, shorts. We're going to be able to see plenty of Josh Allen's legs. Shout out Thigh Doctor on that. Let's see a thigh dance. You're going to see plenty of thigh dances, I'm sure.
He'll get his fill for sure.
Yeah. So, I'm just, I'm actually going to quote, and I know we'll get into this a little bit later, MafiaCon. I remember I was watching the show with Talking Buffalo, Pat and Tim, Pat Moran and Tim Moran, Tim was talking, and they were talking about how this is like maybe one of the most talented but boring teams to cover, and they meant that in a very good way. And it does feel like that, like a little bit. You're just hearing good things come out, and again, the only little bit of drama was James Cook, but that kind of seems like it blew over for the moment. So I'm excited because of there's this feeling towards the end of July, summer's over, right? But now we got the Bills. So we're just going right into the next thing. It's a great feeling.
We've got a great 4 weeks of the Bills coming up because you'll have the training camp into the preseason. Then you do kind of get that last week of August, first week of September, which is like, oh my God, like reverse dog days of summer. Although you'll have Labor Day and we'll have the Shakir family pet adoption event, Wing Fest, that'll be filled with all kinds of stuff there. But just to kind of put a wrap on training camp, because like you said, James Cook likely won't be a major storyline. He may hold in. They're saying, like when they come to training camp and practice, but they don't do like physical stuff or whatever. It's almost like I know this is kind of obvious. I don't know if this is obvious, but like like last year you really wanted to see the pass catchers, right? Because it's like Diggs is gone. We need someone to step up and fill the void, etc. Keon, etc. Like all that. Is there a more important storyline than the Bills just maintaining a relative amount of health for this next 3 weeks?
Yeah, I think it's that, and then just seeing how the rookies are coming in, or not the rookies, last year's rookies and sophomores. We talked about Keon having to put on weight, right? Hopefully he's done his work in the offseason. We've heard from Kincaid's camp how he's really been putting in the weight to get stronger, and how coaches were tough with him about he had to get stronger. So I think it's just making sure no one gets hurt, but I'm also looking to see how some of these young guys carry over. If there's going to be a visible difference you can see in them bulking up a little bit.
Yeah, no, seriously. And obviously, you mentioned second-year player. A lot of eyes are going to be on Cole Bishop. How does he fill into that safety role depth as a second-year player? For sure. Speaking of depth, there was no shortage of amazingness at MafiaCon this past weekend. So, Don, I know you were holding it down at the podcast booth, but pretty amazing event overall at Seneca 1 this Saturday.
Yeah. Also, I mean, you had a whole cast of players, 2-floor event, multiple stages, and it was wild because we had a little bit of tech difficulties. I had to run back and get some microphones, and it was like people were shuffling in. It wasn't crazy. I came back, only like 10-15 minutes passed. It was absolutely packed in there. So it was a great
You did make
event.
a very quick run to your abode on the west side for sure. So you alluded to it, a little stumble out the gate. And by the way, the stumble out the gate was so funny because by like we started I think like 10:45. Essentially by like noon, everything was sailing smoothly till 6. So you had about 6 straight hours there. It was a little stumble in the beginning. I have you a question for you, and I told you this in the pre-show. I was going to put your feet to the burner on this. The consensus at MafiaCon is for sure that you, Pat Moran, and Joe Miller saved the day with your production on-set abilities and everything. How would you distribute the credit pie amongst you three for saving the day if you had 100 pie in front of you?
How would I distribute? Okay, well,
I know you're a team guy too.
I'm a team guy. I'm gonna give it even, kind of even. I'm gonna give 45 me, 35 Pat, 20 Joe. Now I'm doing it purely based on time devotion. Joe was knowledgeable, and what was huge about him was he manned the board during the first podcast so I could run home. Without him, I was going to be like, I don't know, we're shit out of luck. Like You're going to have to be 5 feet away if you want to hear these podcasters. Like, we don't have the right microphones. Well, yada, 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 not get into it. So he did that, and he also just helped get it up and going, and then it was all good. I will say he looked at me, he's like, we should be playing music between these, right? I'm like, absolutely. I have a chord for that. Bang. Pat Moran, yeah, he gets the 35 because at time he was there almost the entire time I was recording in StreamYard all the other guys from a feed for us. So everyone had perfect audio from him through StreamYard or whatever streaming platform he was using. And then we had a backup on our hard drive. So then I'd say for me, it was really, I'm giving myself a little extra percent because I had to do the job no one wants to do and stage manage, which was kick people off the stage when the time was up.
I think based on how it all boiled down, the 45 is fair for you. I mean, again, like, 'cause I'm saying that you saw it out of the gate, you made the run home for sure. But yeah, like I said, like you also said, it couldn't have been done without all three of you. Yeah. So
if we got extra credit, I will, because I don't think I'm being really fair, but I don't want to redo all this math.
Well, that was why the credit pie was, it's big.
Yeah, so Brett should be in there as well.
Yes,
he brought all the equipment. He was there way earlier, way later than anybody. So, but once I got things doing, he got to take a nice break. It was a team effort all around. Like I think that's the best thing is from being in music and production. Sometimes when shit goes wrong, people turn on each other very quickly, and none of that happened. It was everyone's friendly.
It really can be tough in those environments. I don't know what it is. It's kind of like similar to me. It's almost like what is this, a pun or whatever, but cooks in the kitchen. It's almost like working in a restaurant when things can get really stressful really quickly. It feels like that sometimes on production sets, which I know I get a little stressed out, especially because I sometimes don't know what I'm doing.
Yeah, and especially too, like I know, and I'm sure Joe would agree with this because he said he's a musician. He's toured. The music audio production side too is just like a little bit grittier than like your standard like TV, just because the environment. Like you're working in bars and clubs rather than a polished studio. A lot of time there's alcohol involved or other things like in that industry. So yeah,
seriously.
So
the only other things involved in MafiaCon though were amazing autograph sessions and great times from the vendors. So it was awesome to see them coming out. Obviously a great time. Real quick as we get on to the second half of our show, before we do, did you see Bundt on McAfee today?
I saw the clip, and I mean, the Bundt bombs just keep coming.
Bundt is just in the sphere. I don't care. You know, the scoop may have missed, but we're in the ice cream parlor for sure. And we got our, our burglar mask on, and we're not settling for second best is what I would say. Bundt is still in that sphere. I can't wait to see what he's going to do over these next couple weeks.
Yeah, going viral with the Spin Chicklets take. A couple months ago. There's another one I'm missing. And then now this, like, the guys just killing the game. And I feel like that meme that Gatesy always reposts, like, who is Mike Bundt?
Who is Mike Bundt anyway?
That's almost like reverberated where I feel like Pat McAfee's team might have been like, wait, that's the guy like that was on Spin Chicklets. Like, yeah, so it's like it's kind of having like a resonance echo effect. It's good for our guy. Love it.
I agree. Good for a guy. And speaking of good for our guy, real quick, going back to MafiaCon, intern Carson out of nowhere gets the Landon Jackson scoop. He was just having a nice interview. All of a sudden, Landon Jackson's like, I'm going to be ready for training camp. Something that Bills fans were worried about. No need to worry. And then today, of course, it gets announced that he gets activated right off the pup. So nothing to sweat about there. Let's get on to the second half of our show. The second half of Trainwreck tonight, sponsored by the region's premier entertainment destination, the place to win more, lots more, Batavia Downs.
Batavia Downs, more, lots more.
Shout out Batavia Downs. Don, we're moving into the second half of the show.
Doug a quick shout.
Doug, that's my guy. Oh, I think I saw Doug. I think Doug, it's very possible, may have seen me and just started going, folks. I believe it's possible. Don, as much as you were holding down at the sound booth, I was kind of running around with my head cut off for the first 3 to 4 hours of MafiaCon before I was like, I'm a little fatigued. I'm going to take a load off. But yes, shout out Doug and shout out everybody for coming out to MafiaCon. We'll look for MafiaCon 3 announcements, I'm sure, on the horizon. By the way, shout out Alec Martinowicz and Brannick Joan on the chat in Instagram. Alec Martinowicz says he wanted the blue helmets instead of the red helmets. Okay. Well, you're going to need a helmet for the second half of this show as we get into it. MLB second half. Don, not good for my junkies. Toronto Blue Jays are hotter than a, sun right now.
Yeah, the AL East is turning into an absolute dogfight right now between the Red Sox going on the run that they had out of nowhere, Yankees sinking, and then now the Jays. It's yeah, I mean that's might be the best division in baseball right now, other than maybe the NL West with Padres and Dodgers. So
yeah, that obviously, like, we're really getting into the dog days here. Obviously, the end of July. I think the trade deadline is about like a week or two away, a week and a half. We might have to have someone look that up. But yeah, MLB should be pretty crazy in the second half. Speaking of craziness,
July 31st. So we have
July 31st.
9 days.
Okay, so 9 days away. We're right in between the week or two. Perfect. So we'll see who is buyers, who is sellers for sure on that one. But unfortunately, we do have some craziness and some sad to report. RIP Ozzy Osbourne. Report just saying he passed away. Don, obviously I would assume had to be something of a music, not influence necessarily, because I don't know if jazz and what he does overlap at all, but you tell me. But obviously it seems like a loss that is pretty universally sad in the community.
Oh, definitely. Yeah. I mean, it's not just I might play be in the funk, jazz, R&B realm, but like as a music fan, you listen to all of that. I mean, Black Sabbath and like Mama, I'm Coming Home, Crazy Train, all these classics of his are are incredible, and really too, him and Black Sabbath, they did pioneer like that hard rock sound that you don't get to the 80s and the hair metal, and you don't get Van Halen and groups like that, or even modern metal without him and the Prince of Darkness. So very sad, reading articles, and I knew his health wasn't great, but it makes you wonder, because about a month and a half ago, they did that final show for Black
Dude,
Sabbath.
2 weeks. 2 weeks.
Oh, that was 2 weeks ago. I
It was,
thought that was
dude,
like
it was literally 2 weeks ago.
this
Like
is
I
how
couldn't
much of
believe
a
it.
world. Yeah, and so it makes me think, like, did him and his team kind of know, like, but it had been planned for a while, but it's like things like happen like that where it's just kind of spooky. It's and he did perform, like, already videos are circulating of Mama, I'm Coming Home done for that performance, and it kind of puts a little shiver up your spine, like when
Dude, crazy. Like I would never talk like casually about someone's life or anything, but like it almost just feels like, like he was okay to almost like because they said he had been battling Parkinson's for so long, right? Obviously, like, and even at that
Yeah.
performance, he was on the throne and they kind of had to stabilize him a little bit. But I mean, just unbelievable. And it just shows you, the passion he clearly had for it. And for me, I think it was like 20 years ago or something. He was definitely playing at like the NFL kickoff game. He was playing Crazy Train as the Patriots ran out. I remember for sure. I want to say it was like Patriots like Steelers or something, but yeah, I remember him playing Crazy Train at an NFL season opener on like that Thursday night.
Yeah, I mean, and also too, for other generations that, like, he was an icon just in entertainment. Like, he was a guy that didn't take himself too seriously. Like,
Yes.
I think we grew up watching Meet the Osbournes or whatever on MTV.
Meet the Osbournes
like,
was like big part of MTV.
where
When MTV had original shows.
Yeah, and he was absolutely like hilarious, and you see him in a million interviews being, funny. Obviously, he had his demons like anyone else does, but yeah, just I mean, what a life to live, for him. Just all the things he was able to accomplish and everything, and condolences to his family. Rest in power.
Sure.
But like, it's one of those moments where it's equally sad, but also like, you reflect and you're like, man, like, what a great life.
We agreed. We have kind of like speaking of, we kind of have like a weird one final topic here before we wind down on Trainwreck tonight. 398 Colbert getting canceled. Like, to me, the late night show getting canceled. I mean, I didn't even think this was a possibility, but yeah, I mean, I guess there's some stuff going on. I don't know. The one thing I'll say is that I feel like I haven't read the same thing from like multiple sources. I feel like there's a lot of different speculation on exactly what's happening here. But I mean, Colbert being kind of muscled out, and he's muscled out and the show's canceled, but he's going to be here for 10 more months doing it. Like, it's kind of crazy.
Yeah, it's bizarre. I wonder if this went down the network the way the network wanted. I feel like maybe this was leaked to him, or like, his team made their own decision. They're like, we're going to announce this a whole year ahead with the hopes of changing it. Now, here's the thing. If you ask Colbert publicly, like, has he accepted it? He probably says, yeah. But, I didn't really see this as jumping up into a story until you see the last show. They have like Sandler, Fallon, like all like Seth Meyers, Jon Stewart. You have all these late night guys going and kind of like being there in quote unquote solidarity. It's just
That was crazy. Was that crazy, or was that like everyone that they were all kind of protecting their village they've created?
yeah, well, like, so yeah, my first thought was like, and I'm going to say this. I was a huge fan of the Colbert Report. When he got the late night show, I was kind of hyped. It turned out to be a little too milquetoast for my taste. And just get, I think he thrived as a satirical character. But again, too, it's a shock that the whole show's getting canceled. Like, I thought maybe Colbert would get canned, but they're just like, late night show over, which is an institution. Kind of shows you, one, how much entertainment is changing right now, with demographics, and people are watching streamers late night at midnight. Uh-oh. Did we lose me?
Did Don get canceled?
I might have gotten canceled. All right, well, hold up while we figure that out. Oh. See, talking about the elitism of Hollywood, and I get turned off. All right, we're all good.
Seriously, there you go. You got him. You took him out.
But yeah,
yeah.
It's the last thing I'll say about this is, it's weird. You read reports that the show was like losing money, yada yada. Like, people are looking at it different ways. Some people are like, well, they were making money for 5-10 years, so like, you lose money for a couple of years, whatever. You can't throw it in the trash. Other people are like, hey, that's business. It is like, if you're in show business, and everyone forever has, said the George Carlin thing where they're like, it's one big beautiful club and you ain't in it.
Exactly.
I don't think, having all your rich and famous friends show up because you got fired.
It was a little tone deaf in that eye, like, because clearly they're like the 1% of the 1% at that point.
Yeah, I mean, he's making $17 million a year, and the show's losing 50. So, like, whether you're a fan of him or not, and like most things today, it's getting politicized. But yeah, I'll just say, if you ever wanted to, the people that are like, oh, the Hollywood elites, they're having a field day with this one.
Yeah. And that's the facts there. Shout out sign-offs before we get rocking. Training camp starts tomorrow.
Yeah, training camp, MafiaCon, again, it was awesome meeting so many people, so many guys that I've been following on Twitter, never met in person though. And yeah, I mean, just an awesome time all around. And shout out the boat staff for having the Trainwreck boat sesh yesterday.
Seriously, shout out the boat staff on the Moon Dancer with the Bruckman crew. It was a great time. So let's go have a great time the rest of this week. Let's have a great start to training camp. And most importantly, let's have a good night now.